So here recently, the barrage of phone calls started again. I started getting calls at work, calls at home, several times a day, leaving nasty messages, and then I finally got something in the mail. Sim Associates is after me for a debt. What the debt is, I have no idea. You see, the only debt I actually have is student loan debt, except for my credit card, but that's current, and I'm current on it, paying it off. So what would it be? Well, I don't know. But this all started last fall. Last fall, I was 4 years out of college, and for the first time ever, I heard about this debt. I got a letter from another bill collector last fall sometime, and it was for around $35,000. I assume it is supposed to be a student loan. It actually showed up on my credit report before I heard from the agency, and it did list it as educational as the type, so I guess it's a student loan. However, even though I do owe money for student loans, this is not my debt, and this is a whole nother level of struggle that I'm on now, because not only am I trying to pay off my debts, but I'm trying to pay this off. So let me give you guys a little backstory and what I know of it, because I haven't been able to find out exactly what it is. But whenever this happened last fall, I started getting phone calls at work, and no collection agency has ever called me at work. The way the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act is written is that if they should reasonably know that your industry you cannot receive phone calls at work, that they can't call you at work. And then if they do call you and you tell them you're not allowed to receive phone calls at work, then they have to stop. Okay, well, so I got contacted by a person, I don't know what her name was, from Weltman, Weinberg, and Reese. Now, it's a collection agency that's just in the same city as me. Technically, it's in a suburb, but it's just a few miles from me. And they called me at work and were kind of belligerent with me and said, well, well, you owe us this debt. And I'm just like, no, I don't know who you are. You won't tell me what the debt is. And they said in order for them to tell me what the debt was, that I had to confirm the last four of my social with them. And I'm like, no, I don't know who the hell you are. You won't tell me anything about what this is about, and you're calling me at work about it. Which I told them they're not allowed to call me at work, and they just like brushed it off, and she kept, getting more and more aggressive with me. I finally hung up on her. So I went and I told my manager, and I was like, hey, if these people call back, let me know. Because she'd made me so mad about it and the way that she talked to me that I was like, straight up, this happens again, I'm going to Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, filing a complaint. Never had to do that before, but this was really out of line. So anyway, I tell him the name of the company. He's like, yeah. He's like, they sued me. They had sued him over credit card debt. And apparently what had happened is they had used some really shady tactics with him, that they like came into his office there and acted like they were a prospective client in order to confirm his information or something like that. Well, so anyway, he's like, yeah, I got you. And so anyway, they called later that day, and he cussed them out. And then the next day, they called twice. And the next day, they called again. And so I documented that 5 different times they were told not to call at work. It took me that long to have the free time to file the complaint. I filed the complaint with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and they said this place responded the next day, and they said, okay, we will take this as you disputing the debt, and we will provide you with documentation. Well, first of all, they still didn't know, and I still don't know if they're contacting the right person. But I wasn't necessarily disputing the debt. I probably would have, but they hadn't sent me anything. I hadn't got anything in the mail yet. I had no idea who these people were. And then when I did finally get it in the mail, it doesn't say student loan on there or educational. It just has the amount, and it says that the original creditor is PNC. Well, I have never had an account with PNC, any kind of account, whether it be student loan or bank account or anything. And I've never even lived in an area until now that has a PNC. Although it was saying the account was opened in like 2006 or something like that. So, anyway, they sent me, and this is only the second time ever that a bill collector has actually sent me some sort of documentation. They send me one page, all sent me, and it was I guess, like, signature page from a loan. And there were two signatures on it. Four, actually, I'll get into that. There were two signatures. One was supposedly mine and looked absolutely nothing like my handwriting. Because I have terrible handwriting, and when I sign, I actually only sign my initials. But they're such scribbles that people can't tell that. This was, like, neatly written in cursive. And, I mean, I knew cursive when I was in second grade, third grade, I don't know, whenever we learned it, but I don't remember it now. And so it absolutely was not my signature. And then my cosigner's signature did look like her signature, I will say that. But then what was weird about this document is that my signature and the date and the cosigner's signature and the date were crossed out, and then written in at an angle next to it was, again, supposedly my signature and a different date, and then the cosigner's signature again and a different date. Now, I don't know what kind of situation would have happened where that would have happened, like we would have had to cross out a signature and then sign it again. And if that were the case, and this were some sort of legal document, like getting a loan, they would make you sign a different paper, right? Like, something shady is going on here. So anyway, I wrote them a letter back, and I was like, what the hell is this? And explained all those things to them. Didn't hear a word from them. So then, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, I got, apparently they just, even though they knew that it wasn't, anything that I actually owed, they just sold it off to another bill collector. So here it is again. I've got, now it's a company called Schley and Stillman, and they're out of Massachusetts. So I had thought maybe with the one before, because they were in my city, they were going to try to sue me. But now they've got an out-of-state one. Well, so it was the same deal. They sent it to me, said original creditor PNC. I sent them a dispute letter, just a standard dispute letter. And they sent me back not that page that the place sent me before, but just a monthly statement for each month that they had the account, showing how they added fees to it. It was absolutely nothing I asked for. They didn't give me any documentation that they were licensed to practice in Ohio, that they have any right or to the debt, that they own it, that they're the proper person that I should pay it for. Again, it was PNC, which is a place I've never had an account with. It was it's very frustrating that this is popping up again. And instead of properly dealing with it, when I prove to one bill collector that it's not real or that something is wrong with it, they just, instead of dealing with it or sending it back to the original creditor or whatever, they're like, oh, well, now we'll just sell it somewhere else. And then I have to deal with this again, like 6 months down the road. So that's what I'm dealing with here, because now I have sent another dispute letter back to this place, and I said, you didn't give me anything I asked for. You didn't show me where this came from. I mean, nothing. And so I sent them that. I haven't heard anything from them, although it's only been a few days since I sent it. I did get sort of belligerent in my letter sending it back, though, because I'm tired of this. And I basically told them to sue me. I was like, go ahead. Just take me to court, because I'm going to show up, and I'm going to tell the judge that I've never had an account with that company. So there's a side story that goes along with this, too. Because last fall, when I got this letter, I actually I contacted PNC customer service, and they tweeted at me. I mean, I have a copy of that, but they tweeted at me and they said they confirmed that I did not ever have an account with them, and but I wanted like a letter so that I could either send that letter back to these companies when they keep popping up, or um, I could send it to the credit bureau. That way, the credit bureau would know what was going on in case they try to put it on my credit report again. So I contacted them again. I explained the situation. Somebody from something escalation in Kalamazoo contacted me and said, "Hey, we're really sorry about that. We'll make sure that your number is removed." So they're like acknowledging that this is something that they're trying to collect on, but also acknowledging that like they shouldn't be. So I called that person back. I left a voicemail for them, and I was like, "Hey, is there any way that I can get a letter just stating that I never had an account with you? I can provide you my social security number, whatever you need to confirm that." And I explained why I wanted that letter. So she called me back and she said, "No, that's not PNC's policy. We could never write a letter saying that you don't owe us money." Which I kind of get from a bank, but come on. If you know I don't owe you money, then come on. So, anyway, I don't know if this is something on PNC's end, like they made up an account and sent it out to bill collectors, or if the bill collectors have made up the account. I don't know, but I do know that I've never had an account with PNC, and I'm certainly not paying for anything that I never had. I've got enough debt to pay off that I did have. So, anyway, I'm going to continue this fight. Hopefully someone eventually sues me so I can take them to court and have both a tweet and a voicemail from PNC saying that I don't owe the debt, that I never had an account with them, and, that should be the end of it. So, it's frustrating. I've heard of zombie debt before, but it's my first time dealing with it. Hopefully, it doesn't pop up again. And certainly hope that it's not something that's going to be put back on my credit report, because I'm going to fight it every single time because I don't owe it. And it's just really frustrating when I'm trying to pay off legitimate debt and really struggling with that, and then I have these people trying to screw me over and constantly calling and harassing me at home and at work and sending me nasty letters trying to get me to give them $30-some thousand that I don't owe. So anyway, if you guys have had any similar experiences, let me know in the comments below. I did file that complaint with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. I've sent the FDCPA disputes. I also sent a personal dispute saying, hey, this never existed. Let me know in the comments if there's anything else I can do beyond this to keep this from just coming up every once in a while, because it takes a lot of time to type up a letter, to get to the downtown post office because it's the only one that's open after I get out of work, and it does cost me a sufficient bit of money to send all these things certified and the gas to get there and back and all that. So I would definitely like to not have to deal with this anymore. Let me know if there's anything that you guys know that I can do to make this go away. Also, I'm going to have a new video coming up next week or this week, possibly. Give you guys a little insight into where I'm going in the future with my career. So, hope you guys like that. If you haven't subscribed yet, click subscribe. You can follow me on this journey of paying off debt and getting to financial independence. And I'll see you guys later.